Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. The three of you who are watching this. So I did that previous video a few days ago, and I enjoyed doing it. I want to do more of it. So it's one of those things where, yeah, it's not very good, and I don't know that they're ever going to be that good, but it's all I have right now is the way I'm doing it. So on my Facebook, I put a poll on honestly, like, 9, 10 people voted on, which is about how many subscribers I have, so fair enough, um, on what you wanted me to talk about next. And I said Spider-Man trailer, Batman trailer, or James Bond trailer, and overwhelmingly, and I'm going to talk about all of them probably. I never intended to the other two, because I'm definitely going to talk about the Batman trailer. But the Spider-Man trailer definitely was what you all wanted me to talk about the most. So I'll talk about the Spider-Man trailer. I got my Spider-Man hat. I got some Spider-Man DVDs here. These are the only two I could find. I own some of the other ones, but most of the other ones I just couldn't find them. I got my Spider-Man comics, and all of them, obviously, just grabbed a couple. And not one, not two, 3 Spider-Man popcorn buckets. So, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I'm a big comic book fan in general. Spider-Man was one of the earliest comic book characters that I really got into. Probably after Batman and Superman, he'd be the third one I got into. So I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I'm a big Spider-Man movie fan. I've liked a lot of the Spider-Man movies. Of course, this one that we're talking about is Spider-Man No Way Home, which comes out around Christmas, maybe on Christmas Day. I can't remember. It comes out December 2021. It's the MCU's big new movie. They got several coming out this year, but I haven't seen Shang-Chi yet. I would like to see that. My thoughts on the trailers. The trailer's been talked about. One thing I wanted to talk about really quick is I think this is kind of cool. It has broke the record for most like getting to, I think, was it 1 billion views, the fastest, which was previously held by Avengers Endgame. Now the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer has beaten the Avengers Endgame trailer, so I thought that was pretty cool. So people are obviously stoked about this movie, and I'm definitely right there with them. I thought the trailer looked awesome. So I mean, that's a short review right there. The trailer looked amazing, but I wanted to pick it apart because we didn't really know a lot about what it was going to be. This movie has been talked about for some time now on the internet, and a lot of times the internet is wrong. I know it's a shocker to me too, but the internet isn't always right, and a lot of times you hear things that are just simply factually incorrect. And I honestly wasn't sure how much of this movie that we were hearing about was going to be true. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know. It sounds like they were doing like a Spider-Verse live action movie. And obviously, Into the Spider-Verse was a big critical and commercial hit, as well as winning an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature Film, deservedly. That's a great film. But I didn't necessarily, okay, it'd be kind of cool if they crossed over with the Tobey Maguire movies and the Andrew Garfield movies, but I don't know that I really see them doing that. But supposedly Alfred Molina is playing Dr. Octopus in it. That had been confirmed for a while. Supposedly Willem Dafoe is going to be the Green Goblin. Supposedly Jamie Foxx was playing Electro in it. So we heard all of this through the rumor, but I was like, how much of it's really true? Because I also heard confirmations that Mephisto was in WandaVision. I also heard confirmations that all kinds of things. So it's like you just never really know the internet. I remember like 13 years ago, everyone was convinced Megan Fox is playing Wonder Woman, and there it ends up That was never a thing. That was never going to be a thing. That was never a movie where she was attached to play Wonder Woman, or that was ever even a conversation. But everyone in the world thought that was happening for some reason. So, you know, you just never know. And so then a trailer comes out, and we don't even really know what the premise is going to be. Like, Spider-Man Far From Home had a very specific ending, and I don't know if I should spoil it. I am assuming if you're watching this, you've seen Spider-Man Far From Home. So you know what? Screw it. I'm going to spoil it. Spider-Man Far From Home, of course, ends very definitively with Mysterio dying and getting the last laugh and making it look like he was brutally murdered by Peter Parker. Mysterio still pushing himself as the hero, and then revealing to the world that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So Peter Parker in the Marvel Universe is now exposed and is an accused murderer. And while, of course, we know Mysterio was a bad guy, thanks to J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, playing him this time as sort of an Alex Jones type, which I think is amazingly clever. America seems, the Marvel Universe, the MCU, seems to think that Peter Parker is a murderer, and that he isn't, and now they know that he's Spider-Man. They think Spider-Man's a murderer, and now they know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So that's, I figured that was going to play into the next movie in the Spider-Man series. And from the trailer, yeah, that is very much it. We already knew Doctor Strange was in it, and that I always believed. I never doubted that Doctor Strange was in it, because Doctor Strange is, he's got a movie coming out here pretty soon too, as well as, you know, I won't spoil the ending of Loki, but let's just say multiverse is the word you should learn if you're an MCU fan and you want to watch Phase 4. I think multiverse is going to be a big factor. And I couldn't be more excited, because I'm a big comic book fan. I got all these comics. This is just some. I just grabbed some of the Spider-Man ones. I'm a big comic book guy. I love comic books. And I love comic book things that aren't really in anything else other than comic book media. And one of those things is I know that other things like Star Trek have used the multiverse, but multiverse is one of those things where it's like, I mean, does the regular person off the street just know what a multiverse means? You know, the theory of the multiverse and all of that. So the idea of all these different variations of the same story being aware of each other is extremely interesting to me. I don't know why. I just like that concept. I think a lot of people do, based on how many people watch the Spider-Man trailer. And, you know, and I think the thing about Spider-Man is that there have been so many variations. And they have had all had their fans. Because none of them are awful. I'm not crazy about Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3. But I like Amazing Spider-Man 1 a lot. And of course, the first two Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies I love, and I've liked the Tom Holland movies a lot. I mean, I think I grabbed these two because they were the only two that I could find. But other than Into the Spider-Verse, these are probably my two favorites: Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man: Homecoming. I really like these two movies a lot. In fact, I'm gonna kiss them. Mwah, mwah. So that's how much I like them. So. This is super exciting. So this trailer comes out, and it confirms what a lot of people suspected. We're getting kind of a One More Day-ish story, with Spider-Man not liking all of the negative backlash from his identity being revealed, and going to Doctor Strange and asking him to do a spell that basically removes everyone's memory of him being Spider-Man. And it's a careful what you wish for sort of story, which is a comic book classic. Like I said, one of the most infamous Spider-Man stories of all time is One More Day, where Spider-Man makes a deal with Mephisto, who is the Marvel Universe's literal devil, to save his aunt's life by selling his marriage to Mephisto. It's a terrible story, and it's a famously terrible story. But the very idea of Peter Parker making a mystical deal and it backfiring is not a bad one. And it's actually a really clever way to get to the multiverse, I think, especially since we know that Doctor Strange is going to deal with the multiverse in his second film because it's called Multiverse of Madness. And it's directed by Sam Raimi, who directed the first 3 Spider-Man movies. So it all makes sense to connect it all together. And so Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have not been confirmed for Spider-Man No Way Home. That's not officially ever been confirmed. Everyone's been saying left and right that they're going to be in it. And of course, they're not in this trailer, and I didn't expect that they would be. Whether or not they're in it, I never thought they were going to be. I absolutely think they're in the movie, though. Unquestionably, they're in the movie. They're probably going to deny that they're in the movie, but you know what? J.J. Abrams said Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't playing Khan. You know? It's just one of those things where it's like they're going to they want to keep that hidden. I was surprised at how much they did show in the trailer. I actually was not expecting them to show any of the multiverse characters. We got quite a bit in this trailer. It sets up the main plot of Spider-Man going to Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange doing the spell and Spider-Man talking during it because he's worried about this person still knowing and this person still knowing. But Doctor Strange tells him to shut up, which if the Sorcerer Supreme tells you to shut up when he's doing a spell, you shut up. That's what you're supposed to do. But not Peter Parker. He doesn't do that. And we don't exactly know what happens, but for some reason it gets messed up. And after that is just Easter egg, Easter egg, Easter egg. It's a trailer full of Easter eggs. Easter eggs that get me hyped, and it seems like it gets a lot of people hyped based on how many people love this trailer. I think we're already going to see the movie, but it has made it even more extremely anticipated. Of course, the big one is the trailer ends with Alfred Molina. Alfred Molina, who played Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2. That's definitely him. You know, he's there. He looks exactly the same. They've de-aged him to look exactly the way he did back in 2004. And he says, of course, the line, "Hello, Peter," and boom, that's the new Chewie, we're home. Like that. Memes. And of course, everybody's excited. I mean, as much as I was excited to see that, even more so, the pumpkin bomb, the Green Goblin pumpkin bomb. You don't see the Green Goblin, but we see a Green Goblin pumpkin bomb, and we hear a very distinct cackle that you cannot fake. I'm not even going to attempt it. That's a Willem Dafoe cackle. Willem Dafoe's in this thing. He had not been confirmed. Alfred Molina had been, but he had not been. He's in this thing. And it doesn't show... Jamie Foxx was already confirmed as Electro, but it doesn't really show Electro, but there's a lot in the trailer involving, like, electricity and stuff. Then I'm like, okay, well, that's obviously Electro. So I hadn't actually heard this until I saw the trailer, but I looked at it and I said, are they doing a multiversal Sinister Six? Because there are shots in this trailer that are very clearly, well, not clearly, but could very well be other villains that we didn't know. Doc Ock, Goblin, and Electro are all confirmed, but they haven't confirmed some of the others, but there was two that I saw, and the rest of the internet's talking about it too. One of them is there's a lot of scenes involving a lot of debris and dirt, and it looks a lot like sand. Is that the Sandman? Is that you, Sandman? Are you in this? You were in Spider-Man 3, and that was stupid, so you might as well be in a good one. I don't know. It could just be from the electricity with Electro, but I think it's Sandman. I honestly do think he's in this, and I'm excited because I've always wanted to see the Sinister Six. And then, of course, you have the one shot that's very dark, and you can't really make out what it is, but it's something behind Peter jumping at him and biting him with claws and teeth and such. I think it's the Lizard. Immediately that's what I thought of, was the Lizard. I've heard other theories. I've heard Venom. I don't think it's Venom. Watch it be Venom, and then I look like a moron. But I really don't think it's Venom. But I've also heard Morbius. Sorry, not Mobius. That's from Loki. Morbius, the living vampire. That wouldn't be completely unlikely, considering there is a new Morbius movie coming out fairly soon, the Jared Leto one. But I still think I still lean more towards the Lizard. That would make more sense for the Sinister Six, the Sinister Six. It would make more sense to have it be an already established villain. He was the villain from the first Amazing Spider-Man. It's also one where they wouldn't have to worry about bringing back the actor. Reese Ifans played him, but I mean, he's a lizard man. You don't have to have Reese Ifans back. He played Dr. Connors, but the lizard itself is CGI. So I figured same thing with Sandman. So it's like those are villains where you don't even need to necessarily bring back the absolute right actor. So I think it's the Sinister Six. Are they doing a multiversal Sinister Six? Which would make sense because the central villain is very clearly Dr. Octopus. And if you've ever read the Sinister Six comics, or the comics featuring the Sinister Six, he's usually the leader. Now, if you're not a Spider-Man fan, or you're not a comic book fan, maybe you're a Spider-Man fan, but you're not like a comic book avid reader, the Sinister Six are a long-standing tradition in Spider-Man comics, dating back to the Stan Lee and Steve Ditko days, of 6 Spider-Man villains teaming up for one purpose only: to kill Spider-Man. The original group was formed by Dr. Octopus, who's usually the leader. I wouldn't say always, but usually the leader. And the original group also consisted of the Vulture, Electro, Sandman, Mysterio, Kraven the Hunter, and Dr. Octopus is number 6. But it's been different ones throughout different times. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be that group. So that's one of the things that one of the main theories I wanted to talk about was, if it is the Sinister Six, who's the 6th? I think I know. Or at least, I don't really know. But I have a theory. I have a theory that's my theory. It's the theory I'm going with. But before I get to that one, there are a few that I think are completely fair. The 2 that I think I've heard the most, that I think I give the most credit to, other than the one that I'm officially getting behind, would be Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man 2, who's played by Paul Giamatti. It's another one that he's in the Rhino thing. You could hide the fact that if you didn't get Paul Giamatti back, you could hide that. And the other one would be, they have officially cast Aaron Taylor Johnson in a solo Kraven the Hunter movie. I don't fully understand why Sony's doing that, because nobody's asking for a solo Kraven the Hunter movie. I like Kraven the Hunter a lot. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, but I don't really need him to have his own movie. But whatever. They want to Venom and Joker him, so whatever. That's right. I mentioned you. Yeah, you didn't think you were going to get mentioned in this, did you? Well, get out of here. So, he's getting his own movie. The only reason why Kraven the Hunter is usually a member of the Sinister Six, and there's 2 main reasons why I don't really think that's probably going to be the 6th. Is one, that movie hasn't come out yet, so like they'd have to introduce who this is. General audiences aren't going to necessarily know who that is. And second of all, Aaron Taylor Johnson is already in the MCU as Quicksilver. I know Quicksilver's dead, but I don't see them doing that. I just don't see them doing that. I really don't think it's Morbius the Living Vampire, and I really don't think it's Venom. That's not to say that either of them can't be in the film. I just don't think they're the 6th. Of the Sinister Six. I think, and of course, a lot of people have said it's Michael Keaton's Vulture, and that's very possible. That's very possible. He was in that trailer for Morbius the Living Vampire, so we know they are going to use him more. I think it's Mysterio. Because if there's one villain whose death you can't trust, it's Mysterio. Mysterio's whole thing is that he's the illusionist. He's the master illusionist. Mysterio has usually been part of the Sinister Six. Mysterio is a personal favorite villain of mine, so maybe it's wishful thinking. I really love Jake Gyllenhaal in that part and Far From Home. So who knows? That's who I think it is. I think it's Mysterio. And I don't know that I necessarily agree with this theory, but it does tie in to the other big conversation piece, Doctor Strange. There's a lot of people on the internet who think Doctor Strange is acting a little strange, lack of a better word. Doctor Strange is always very duty-driven in the previous Avengers movies, and here in this one, he's doesn't seem to really care about the fact that he's messing with space-time. Now, personally, I think that that could be a character thing, and that will make more sense in the context of the film. But the idea that it's not Doctor Strange, and it's actually someone in disguise, is not impossible. It's actually not a bad theory. It's kind of clever, actually. It wouldn't explain how he would be able to do the spell unless it's somebody with the same power level, but whatever. Well, I mean, again, we haven't seen the movie. This is all speculation. So I've heard a lot of people say that it's actually Mysterio in disguise. I'm like, that'd be kind of cool. Wouldn't that be kind of an interesting twist if it was actually Mysterio? Maybe Mysterio really was magical this time. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. It's not Mephisto. Please stop saying it's Mephisto. It's not Mephisto. Mephisto is not happening. Mephisto is the fetch of MCU. It's not, stop trying to make Mephisto a thing. I want Mephisto to be in the MCU too, but they're obviously not going to use him. If they were going to introduce him in Phase 4, it would have been in WandaVision, and he wasn't there, so he's not there. No more Mephisto. Speculation. If there is a devil in this movie, it's Daredevil. I think Charlie Cox is confirmed for this, right? I think I read that somewhere. I think I read that a long time ago. Charlie Cox, of course, played Daredevil on the fantastic Netflix Daredevil TV show that no longer exists. Thanks, Disney Plus. Actually, I really like Disney Plus. I'm just saying that's the reason why Daredevil and Punisher don't exist anymore, and I really like those shows. I was sad to see them get canceled. But Charlie Cox is a fantastic Daredevil, and a bunch of people think that he's in the trailer, but I don't. Charlie Cox has said he's not in the trailer, and I don't think he is. They think that there's like a scene where Peter's talking at the police station, and everyone thinks that his forearms are shown. That the person you just see their forearms. It must be Matt Murdock. Now, I do think that's probably how he'll play into this, though, right? Matt Murdock is a lawyer. Peter's going to need a lawyer. That would be the most logical way to get him in, especially if you've read the comics. Daredevil and Spider-Man team up a lot in the comics, and that usually is how they meet, is Peter Parker or Spider-Man or both get accused of a crime, and then Matt Murdock is his lawyer. So I think that's probably, I think that part is probably right. I just don't think it's the way, And that's the great thing about this, is I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't seen the movie. I can't wait to see the movie, though. It looks freaking awesome. What's that? Oh, you know who the sixth Sinister Six villain's going to be? Who? You? Oh, you're not going to be in the Spider-Man movie. Sure, it's a multiverse movie, but it's not going to be that much of a multiverse movie. But yeah, no, what do you really say about it? The trailer is like, like it's freaking amazing. I can't believe this is happening. Even if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield aren't in the movie, come on, they are. But even if they're not, the fact that they have the Alfred Molina Dr. Octopus is alone pretty amazing. I mean, I remember being shocked to see the J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man Far From Home. So having Dr. Octopus, having Willem Dafoe Green Goblin, having both of them, I've always wanted to see the two of them together because I love those two, the Dafoe Goblin and Molina Doc Ock. So, I mean, even if it doesn't have everything everyone wants, it's still amazing. It's still a really cool looking plot. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, sorry. The point is, it looks great. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. And I can't wait. I think you can't wait either. Those are my personal theories about the movie, but at the end of the day, I don't need any of them to be true, you know, to enjoy the movie. I just hope it's a really good movie, and I think it will be. I hope it's not just fan service, and I don't think it will be. It didn't look like it from the trailer. It actually did look like a legitimate storyline. So that's my take on it. I will be back eventually to do a